Welcome back, our dear viewers. Minister of Environment Dr. Yasmin Fouad met with Frans Timmermans, the first Deputy Commissioner and Commissioner of the European Green Deal at the European Commission, and his accompanying delegation in the presence of the European Union Ambassador in Cairo, Christian Berger, to discuss the mechanism to joint cooperation in support of the roadmap for hosting the COP27 climate conference, which will take place next November in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. To shed more light on that, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mohsen, our energy expert. Good morning, Dr. Amr.
Good morning.
Sir, how do you see the significance of the upcoming climate change conference, COP27, which will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh next November?
Well, of course, it is of a very high importance because it will continue the steps that were taken in the previous COPs, especially starting with the COP of Paris in 2015. And it's very, very important to make big steps towards improving the climate of our planet, and therefore eliminating the climate change.
Sir, indeed, a very important COP26 was held last year in Glasgow. Since then, what concrete steps were taken until this moment in order to improve the climate situation with all the repercussions which we can see on the ground due to the climate change?
Well, of course, it's a very wide scope, but let me suggest to focus on one part of that scope, which is the most relevant to Egypt, if you like.
Yeah, please.
You know that Africa, as a continent, has a population of 1,400 million people, okay? Which is about 16% of the global population. Yeah. But 41% of the inhabitants or the citizens of Africa have no access to electricity. And now, of course, with all the technological advancement and so on, everybody is trying to have access to electricity. So if we, as Africans, are not careful in the way those people, those hundreds of millions of people who have no access to electricity now are going to generate electricity, then the planet and the climate will suffer. So this is a very important aspect, and Egypt is taking a leading role in this. And you just mentioned that the European Union is having several meetings with the Minister of Environment of Egypt and with different officials in Egypt. Indeed. And those meetings are indeed concentrating on the role that Egypt could play as a leader in the African continent to ensure that the generation of electricity will be a green technology, so the planet will not suffer and the climate change will be, alleviated, if you like. So I think this is very important for Egypt.
Indeed. Dr. Mohsen, how can Egypt benefit from the European Commission in supporting the climate conference?
Well, like we said, Egypt has a very strong qualification to lead the whole continent of Africa in terms of energy and to ensure that the energy in Africa, be it the new energy for people who today have no access, or transforming the polluting energy generation technologies into green, Egypt can take a leading role in this. And that's, I think, very important. And that's one of the main reasons why Sharm el-Sheikh will be the next COP27 in November.
Yes, yes. So what are the priorities of the climate conference which will be taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh, the COP27? What would top the agenda of the conference?
Okay, the agenda, of course, will be, will have a very wide scope. And, you know, people now, and that's a very good sign, a very good thing, I guess, countries that are responsible for the pollution, which are called the industrialized countries, burning a lot of coal, burning mazout, burning, you know, all kinds of fuels that has caused the climate change to start a couple of decades ago. Now, those countries have started to accept the responsibility that they have for starting that pollution and continuing it. Before, let's say, only a few years ago, that, if you like, acceptance of their role in starting climate change was not recognized. They didn't want to recognize this, and they kept throwing the responsibility on others. But luckily for everybody, that has started to change, and now we see that the industrialized countries are starting to really agree that they are the responsible for the climate change. Therefore, they should fund the other countries in order to avoid the big climate change.
Yes. So, sir, till the conference, which will take place next November in Sharm el-Sheikh, what are the steps taken on the ground as preparatory measures for this summit concerning the climate and environment?
Well, what I expect will be the greatest achievement in COP27 is, like I just said, you know, people who, or countries that have caused, by and large, the pollution of the Earth's atmosphere will now say, okay, we are responsible, so we are the ones who have to fund the you know, the new metamorphose into green technologies, like you say. And that's a very good thing because, you know, as we all agree, I guess, in order to achieve something, financing it is, you know, is paramount.
Yes. Finally, sir, what's your expectation from this conference, the COP27, regarding solving the repercussions of the climate change, especially in the African continent?
Well, I think that, you know, the COP27 will really start putting Egypt in the leading role in the African continent. Yes. Because as everybody knows, and I just want to remind people in a few seconds, in 2018, so only 4 years ago, Egypt has signed a contract with the Tanzanian government, and the Egyptian contractors and the Swedish corporation are building a dam in Tanzania on the Rufiji River that will produce an amount of electricity equivalent to the one produced by the high dam here in Egypt. Yes. So this is a very good proof that Egypt is capable of leading the generation of new electricity in the continent of Africa, and also in changing whatever is polluting now into something that is more environmentally friendly.
Yes. Dr. Mohsen, our energy expert, many thanks for being with us today and have a very good day. Our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show, brought to you live here from our studios in Al TV International by my dear colleague Mohammed Abdelrahim and myself, Mahisi Rabia. We are both signing off for now until tomorrow with another cruise. Goodbye. Have a lovely day.